Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we're going to do a little bit of a update here at the nursery behind the scenes. So full disclosure, I am coming down with a touch of a cold. So my energy level today is like rock bottom, but I still want to be with you sweet folks and tell you all about the fun things that are happening here at the nursery. While the garden center is closed, it is the off season. And if you know Creekside Nursery, there really is not an off season, but if there were one, this would be it. So Jerry and I, we like to go kind of run away for a little mini vacation, a couples retreat, if you want to call it that, after the holidays. And you know, you get on some airplanes in late December, early January. We've done it for several years in a row, but this was the first time that I have come back with a cold. So I know that you will appreciate and understand why we are not out in the garden today working hard, because you got to take care of your body, people, right? You got to learn how to rest. So I am resting today, but we are going to still be very productive here at the garden center. The production area, all sorts of different areas, projects are happening. So like I said, I thought you might enjoy to see some of the fun action. And my furry companion is around here somewhere. She has been going crazy because we have been in the house doing some odds and ends today, and she is ready to get outside. So what's happening right now, I put Jackson in charge of a project. And if you know Jackson, who is our 15-year-old son, he does love a good excavator, and so this project was right up his alley. So this is the kind of, we planted this as a privacy screen several years ago, and it just needs a little bit of maintenance. So let me show you what Jackson's doing for me today. So this area is kind of on the edge of the parking lot, the field where we have parking. The signature garden is just right across the creek. You can see that green grass. So like I said, several years ago, we came in here and planted this privacy screen. We have got some of the gorgeous magnolia trees. So these will be the nice, big, huge magnolias. The name has just gone out of my head, and so I'll try to remember what they are, but these will be the giant ones. Then we have the Thuja green giants, right? So beautiful, nice screen that will window pane between the magnolias and the green giants. And then up along the creek, we have some of the October Magic camellias. Now these camellias are sasanquas, and the idea is that we have plenty of room between the green giants, because remember, the green giants can get easily like 15, 17 feet wide at the bottom. And then the camellias they're going to obviously be more upright than they are short and wide. So to give you an idea, again, if you're not familiar, there is the nook right here at the signature garden, and these are where the Incrediballs are planted. So that Incrediball hedge that we have, that's where they are. The Midnight Express for Redbud is over here, and then of course the barn and the formal signature garden is right over there. So what I asked Jackson to do is to come in here and to kind of reclaim and give some breathing room for these poor camellias, because nature likes to reclaim itself, and we are have a lot of abundant growth here in North Carolina. And so the briars, we've got some like privets were coming back in here, and they were starting to kind of overtake these camellias. So you can see where he's kind of come in, cleaned out some junk for me. He even got an old pine tree stump out. And so this way we're getting all of this junk stuff out, and then we can then easily maintain it moving forward. So we'll have to come back in, you know, and hand clean up some of this, cut some of this little low stuff right here. Obviously, my massive poplar is not going to go anywhere. It is staying right there. Even this holly will stay there. He just may have to limit up a little bit so that everybody can get some nice sunshine in here. So that is what I put him in charge of doing today. Now, moving forward, what we will do is we've got some great plans on how to keep this low maintenance but very fertile so that these plants can grow, but not the weeds. So the plan is once Jackson gets all this cleaned up, right? So we get all the debris out, we get any limbs that have fallen down, all that kind of stuff, just get it clean. So then what we're going to do is he's going to take the edger and come on the back side, so between the grass and this area right here, and then he is going to go ahead and redefine the bed edge. So you know we have our bed edger, so get that in here and get a nice hard edge on the transition area between the Brenna's trying to come after me, between the grass and the flower bed. That way when we mow, it makes a nice easy definition of where the two areas are. So edge it, get that up because it does make a mess, right? And then we're going to come back through. I have to let my husband know that I need a tractor trailer load of like bulk mulch. So in here we do like a double hammered type mulch. Yes, we could use the Daddy Pete, but when we were talking about this big of an area while we're waiting on these trees to grow and really fill in this space, we're gonna put that big bulk mulch down here. Forms a nice thick mat, which helps prevent weeds tremendously. So having a nice thick layer of mulch prevents the weeds, makes less work on us, it insulates the roots, and as it breaks down, it turns into delicious compost for these trees and the camellias to grow. So that is the idea. And then moving forward in when we enter into those warmer months, the growing months, because of what Jackson's doing today, we will have a nice kind of clear path on between the camellias and the creek. So honestly, what we'll probably come and do, because this is, like I said, we're talking about briars, there may be some grapevine in here, you got some privets, things are going to want to come back to life in here that we don't want in the flower bed. So that way we can easily keep it sprayed. We'll use an herbicide, whatever herbicide of choice that you like, you can use. And so we will spray that to keep those invasive weeds and vines from getting back in here, and they will love it. Now, we did not, I'm pretty sure this past year, we did not fertilize, which was a massive oversight on our part. So your magnolias, your Food Your Green Giants, your camellias, they're all very acidic loving plants. So holly-tone. So we will put the holly-tone on them, and with the trees being the size that they are, they will take a good bit. We'll follow the recommended dosage on the bag, but that will help tremendously get some good growth. Now, this is not on irrigation at all. We may have watered it once or twice with the tractor when we planted it. That was 2-3 years ago when we planted this. And so at this point, I don't worry about them dying, right? Because at this point, their roots are nice and established, and we're just going to have great growth from moving on out. So appreciate my man back here doing his mama a solid. Appreciate that a lot. It is going to look so good in here, and honestly, I cannot wait until these magnolias fill in and get really, really happy, because that way they're going to make gorgeous like Christmas decorations, because they have that beautiful dark brown underside. Oh, I'm so excited about that. All right, so I did a quick little search for the magnolia. Bracken's Brown Beauty, that's what it is. So Bracken's Brown Beauty, that is a mouthful. We could call it like B cubed, I don't know. Anyway, I digress. So this is going to be that, like I said, classic magnolia, has those dark green glossy leaves on the front, and then let's see if I can come over here, and then the brown on the underside, which is what we love about magnolias. And then of course it will bloom those classic big huge white flowers that we love and adore, and then they have a beautiful fragrance to them. Bracken's Brown Beauty is hardy in zones, I pulled it up, 5 to 9 and about 20 to 30 feet tall. So thrives in full sun to part shade, perfect right here. Moist, well drained, slightly acidic soil. So there you go. So if you're looking for a big beautiful magnolia, Bracken's Brown Beauty, and then of course the Green Giants. Love these guys. We have 3 of them at the house that are absolutely massive, and they too will get in that 20 to 30 foot tall and then very pyramidal. So like I said earlier, about at maturity, ours are like every bit of 17 feet wide at the bottom, 30 feet tall. So once these fill in, oh my goodness, they're gonna be gorgeous. All right, so Jackson basically is done. He's just cleaning up a little bit. So big shout out, thank you to Jackson. If you need excavator work, y'all, he is the guy. So let us know and we'll put you in touch with him. But he does an amazing job, whether it's doing stuff like this or digging ditches or whatever you need with excavator work, machine work. He is looking for work, so put the boy to work, please. So what we're gonna do now is gonna give you an update on the dock, because the dock is finished, and give you an update of production because we have got plants arriving this week and we are in production mode. All right, my friends, so Brenna and I made our way up here to production. Several of you have been asking to see the finished dock, so there you go. It is all done and squared away. It is ready to receive its first arrival of plants, minus one other step. So on the front face of the dock, what we're going to do is put these bumper pads. There's 2 of them. Jerry has them. He just has to, you know, find the time to get them installed. But that's going to happen pretty quickly. So what it is exactly what it sounds like. So when the trucks back up to the dock, that way if they bump it, it doesn't damage or you know, hit the concrete. It hits those bumper pads. And so there you go. So let me show you a little bit up close. You know, who could say that concrete is pretty? Well, this concrete is pretty, my friends. Jerry has come through a little bit and added in gravel as far as to kind of clean up any, especially up here by the sidewalk. But now we literally have concrete. So when the plants arrive, and like specifically I'm thinking, we have the first of the Proven Winner annuals will arrive next week. And typically those always come by 18-wheeler directly from Pleasant View Gardens up in New Hampshire. So normally it's Lenny. You know how much we love Lenny. So Lenny can back up right here to the dock. This is basically a 4-foot face right here. Yes, we'll have the bumper pads on here, and then also a plate. I forget exactly. Jerry's not with me, so I don't remember what it's exactly called. But it's a plate that will come from here, and it'll flip over. So when because you'll have, you know, the truck can only get so close, right? So you'll have a bit of a gap between the loading dock, unloading dock, and then the tractor trailer bed. So you've got to have some sort of plate that flips over, because these are all on rolling racks, and so to roll off and you don't go into the gap. So got to get that as well. So yeah, so this is 4 feet, but we have solid concrete now that we can take those racks and roll it around. Can go, you know, to the greenhouses, all the way in front of both of these greenhouses, the dry storage, and then that sidewalk continues all the way through the back to the big house with the where we do all the potting machine and all of that stuff in there. So speaking of the potting machine, I have got a bunch of busy little bees in there getting ready for the perennials that are coming this week. So in the big house, as we affectionately call it, this is the site of all of the production. And my friends, all of those pots that you see, those are the perennials that will be arriving this week. And then we have more perennials coming next week, along with the first round of the Proven Winner annuals. So they have been working their little hearts out quite a while now. So let me show you what they're doing and kind of explain the process and why we're doing what we're doing. All right, so right now this bay of the greenhouse is kind of the site of all of the production and going to be the potting up and the planting. We will eventually have to get rid, quote, of all this kind of, because we'll have plants right here. So in the meantime though, this will last us for quite a while. So what we have done is we have created pallets that have the pots with the barcodes on them so that they are ready to be potted up. So for example, this is SKU number 156. This is going to be the Gold Heart Dicentra, one of the Creekside champions. So we have all of these pallets are made up. We've got inventory list on the front of them, and they are put out in order of the delivery. So these will be all the plants, the perennials that get delivered this week that we will be potting up at the end of the week. So therefore, we can take our pallet jacks, we can take this pallet, bring it around to this spot right here, so whoever's feeding the pots, they can feed in the pots and the barcodes are already on them. So that is, and then as they run out of a pallet, then somebody else will move, bring these pallets up to the person who is feeding the machine. So that is the process there. So right now what they're doing is working on the annuals. So we have to fill in every single tray by hand. We don't have a machine that fills in the pots. We do it by hand, and then it moves on down, and you can see like Brittany is putting on the barcodes. Amber already has her barcodes on, and then you'll notice that, so smart, so on each side the barcodes are sticking out. So on that corner side and then on the flat side. So no matter what side you're looking at the trays, you know exactly, like this is going to be the Angel Face Wedgwood Blue. So we know that's what that's going to be, and then they're making those pallets over there. Brenna, of course, is saying hello to everybody. She definitely is the company mascot, and so she enjoys going around saying hello to everybody. So she has to get her pets from everyone, and so she's making the rounds. So we do put our stickers on by hand as of right now, because yes, there are machines that will put stickers on your pots, and it is pretty neat. Like it is fancy and it is fantastic. But that pretty cool machine comes with a very pretty price tag, and so we're just not quite there yet to take the leap to buy a label machine. So this is what we're doing for the time being. Every year, you know that we'll go and get more. Debbie's throwing pots at me. We try to be as efficient as possible, but we're not growing cash trees around here, so we do what we can do. So that's what we're doing right there. But the more we can get ahead of the game, then that's the name of the game, because basically once we start potting in that day, we try not to stop the machine, and so you're just doing that slow and steady and keeping it going. So the more we can get all of this kind of stuff done ahead of time, the better. But they're just knocking it out. They are doing a fantastic job. I mean, y'all, we're talking about tens of thousands of plants and pots that are being put together. And Cece is playing a little Tetris over there and trying to get that pallet up as high as possible. Of course, once they build it, then that's what she's doing, is gonna come back through and do some of that shrink wrap to make sure that when you have a 85, 90 pound German Shepherd that runs through with her tail, that when she hits it, that the pots don't go flying. Or if on these warm days when the greenhouse is open, you get a gust of wind and the pots don't go flying, because that would honestly be quite disastrous. Oh, let me show you something, y'all, real quick. Talking about plants, let me show you. Look at these hellebores, y'all. So we have these hellebores that have been growing since this summer, I want to say. So Lenten roses, and y'all, they are looking really good. We have got one variety that is, look, so this is the Frost Kiss Charmer. Can you see those buds on it? Oh, so cool. And I love the Frost Kiss series because their foliage is has a little bit of a, not variegation to it, but it has a different texture and color than some other Lenten roses. But love these hellebores. Look at those beautiful roots coming out the bottom. Oh, so Charmer, she is going to be the first bloomer of the season in the hellebores. All right, so we had to get a little plant spotlight in, because as you can tell, other than the hellebores, there's just like, I don't know, a handful of little perennials right there, but everything else is empty. Other greenhouses are empty. And so we are ready to get rocking and rolling. We will start with the annuals up here in this corner. We'll fill in all of these bays and then we've got to do those other 2 houses. We've got to do the retail greenhouse. All of that will get completely filled before we have to have this pad area. So we can keep this process going with a ton of plants as they come in and a ton of orders. And then once everything is filled up, this is the last spot that will get plants put on it. At that point, the potting machine will come out, because as we've talked about before, this summer we're going to build a potting building. If I say pot building, that sounds weird. Production potting building, I don't know, whatever. And so that will come out, so that will free up a ton of room for us to grow some more plants. So there you go. So thanks for hanging out with me today while I'm kind of fighting this cold, and appreciate all of y'all's support and encouragement as we go through this next 2026 season. It's crazy that it's here, but it's so stinking exciting. And I don't care how many times plants arrive at this nursery, it is always so exciting because you see these babies come in and you know the potential, like you know the beauty that they're going to bring forth, and not only our gardens, but your gardens as well. And that is just so fun. That never gets old. It is very exciting. So anyway, I am going to go back to the house. I'm in the process of making some homemade chicken soup. I was in the mood for some chicken soup, so that is what I am doing. I've got to go strain my chicken broth so that it can be ready for my soup. So y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Hopefully I'll be back out in the garden full force. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, sweet friends.